Subscribing to The Observer on YouTube couldn't be easier, and we're going to show you exactly how to do that. First, navigate to www.youtube.com/theobservernj. Once you get there, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button. Next to the subscribe button, click the down arrow and then all. And that's it. You're subscribed, and now anytime The Observer is live, you will be notified.
Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Canessa coming to you live from the home studio today on this, the 24th day of February in the year 2026. Sure hope you're enjoying your Tuesdays, no matter where it is you are in the country. And before I get to Tony Mondero of the Harrison Weather Center, I want to make note of what I have up on the screen right now. This alert came in from the Kearney Police Department a couple of minutes ago. All vehicles parked on Davis Avenue between Midland Avenue and Duke Street must be removed immediately. There are many vehicles still parked on Davis Avenue. Move your vehicle now or you will get impounded. Look, folks, the notice that went out was that these vehicles were supposed to be removed by 8 o'clock this morning, and here we are at 1:35, and there are still a lot of cars out there. And I think that's pretty good patience on the part of the Kearney Police Department to have waited this long. So if you have your car on Davis Avenue, get it moved now, or else you're going to wind up having to pay some astronomical fees for the towing and the storage. So now, let's get right over to Tony. We just finished up this crazy storm, and he's going to tell us all about how it went and what's coming up. What's up, brother?
Kevin, I'm just thinking whether I got my car parked in Davis Avenue in Kearney. I'm so delirious from the storm. I think I'm good, so I'm with you. I'm on Davis Avenue in Harris.
Right. Yes. Davis said you got the street right, but the wrong town. But that's okay. At least you have your microphone on.
In all seriousness, right. Davis Avenue Thursday morning will be snow removal for Davis Avenue in Harrison on Thursday morning. They posted this morning, so for our Davis Avenue residents down here. Hey, Kev, Kev, what a storm, huh?
What a storm indeed. Tell us about it. What were the measurements? And then I want to ask you a question after we talk about that, about the measurement of snow and how that's all done. So tell us about what we went through.
Sure. And our forecast when we left you on what was it, Saturday when we were talking, or Sunday, whatever day that was. I'm getting all my days screwed up here. We were saying that a general average of 6 to 12 inches of snow. But if we got into that banding, which we did, it could go, anywhere from 13 to 20. And some places even did a little bit better than that, a little north of 20, in the surrounding area.
Right.
So we're responsible for forecasting here in Harrison. We had 18 inches of snow. We have a spotter, Jim Munley in Kearney, New Jersey. Jim reported 19 inches of snow. We have North Arlington. They have a CoCoRaHS observer, which is a special weather observing program that the public can participate in, but they're trained. They've reported in North Arlington 16 inches. Wallington, 17 inches. We had at Nutley 12 inches of snow. And in Hoboken, New Jersey, our friend Iggy over there, he reported 20 inches of snow. So some snowfall from around this immediate area.
So explain that a little bit, if you don't mind. How do you have such disparity from Hoboken to Jersey City to Kearney to Harrison? How does that happen? And how is it all how does it all come to be like that?
So what happens is, and one of the branches here of a couple at the Weather Center, we're an official climate station for the National Weather Service. That's why when you see Harrison Weather Center, you see the NOAA logo. Right. So I'm a volunteer for the National Weather Service for up to New York. That's our cooperating office that I report to. And I have to go through hours of training just to report the weather for them once a day, and it goes through the nationwide weather wires, my official weather observation. The old observation station used to be in Jersey City, New Jersey, but back in 1982, they moved it here over to Harrison, New Jersey, and we have official records going back that far. So what we do, when we have like a situation coming up tonight, and we'll talk about that in the forecast section, we have some snow coming in, very light wind. we'll be able to what we call use a snowboard. And a snowboard is just what it is. It's a piece of plywood about a 1/4 inch thick. And what we do is we lay it up on a table, and we're able, as when there's no wind, to be able to measure the snow on the snowboard, and that's how we get our measurement. Now, what happens is the stakes are a little higher when we have a blizzard. When we have a blizzard, you go out and look at that snowboard, Kevin, you're going to have nothing. It's going to be wiped clean because the wind's going to take that. So what we have to do as an observer is to go out, and we have to take at least 10 measurements around the area and use an average of the measurements that we see in a uniformed area. There will be some drifting, and all that gets calculated to an average. Now, a lot of these public reports, or reports that you see on TV, are just what they are, the public. Now, the public's not stupid. They're going to want, it's going to be a historic storm or potentially historic. So why not, use something, measure a drift, put the ruler in. Not to say that they were wrong, but it was measured wrong. So it gives you a high false value of the snow. It doesn't give you an average value of the snow. So that's why you see a lot of inflated snowfall readings out there. One that I questioned was Newark International Airport. They came in with 27.1 inches. We are exactly 3 miles north of that observing station, and here in Harrison we had 18.
So you think are you thinking that they took a drift and measured the drift, and that's where they got that 27 inches from? Is that more than likely the scenario, or what? Like, how can you be off by that much?
It had to be inflated somehow, Kevin. I don't know what went into that measurement. We had the same snow band that came over us. Now, in all fairness to Newark, I took a look at one of the closest stations that had an official snow observer, and that was in Cranford, New Jersey, and Cranford measured 21 inches of snow. That's still 6 inches higher. Mm-hmm. So let's, while we're on that subject, let's take a look at some county readings, the highest from trained observers. So Bergen County, River Edge measured 24. I'm using some official paperwork here, as you see my little
post-it. I love it. I love it. Oh my God.
Verona and Essex County had 14, and Passaic County, Wayne Township, they had 14 inches of snow. Central Park, New York, 19.7. For those of you who live out in LaGuardia Airport, 22.5. In JFK, they had 20.1 inches of snowfall. So an interesting storm. It's about what we expected here at the Weather Center. We didn't think here in our local area that we would get anything north of 20. We did have a 20 at Hoboken. And again, Kevin, it was a good forecast. Now you'll say, well, Tony, how come you can hit him so well and a lot of the other people have problems with snowfall? First of all, Kevin, here, we do not sensationalize the weather. We never will sensationalize. I do not go for clicks. The Harrison Weather Center in no way, shape, or form on our Facebook site is monetized. I think we should be monetized. Maybe someday it might have to happen. But we work very hard to try to get good weather information out to the people, and I'm glad I'm doing it under the Observer Live banner that you guys are able to have us on to get the word out like we did the other day.
Thank you, Tony, and I really, how grateful we all, Lisa and I are, and Bobby, for you being with us when when you're able. And I tell you what, I mean, when you think about what you just mentioned about Newark Airport, right there alone is enough to demonstrate how valuable you are to this community. You really are, and I cannot thank you enough for that. You're a good man. Thank you, Tony.
I appreciate that.
Look at my uncle, by the way. He's out in Carlsbad, and of course, California, and he's rubbing it in. He will not tell us what the high was in San Diego yesterday, but please tell us, Uncle. I want to know. I want to dream of what could be, if you don't mind. Please let us know.
I'm going to guess 71.
Yeah, because doesn't it like go? It's like 55 to 75. It's going to be in that group at some point every day of the frickin' year, for crying out loud. It's got to get boring, though, Tony. No, do you want to live in a place like that where you have the climate the same all year round?
When's the flight take off, Kevin?
I know.
I would
I'm so,
sign up.
yeah,
I would sign up for 70, the split of 70 and 50 every day.
I know. Can you believe I gave up living in Florida and came back to this?
Maybe we'll
I
have to do a special on that someday. What led you to that decision?
Yeah, we will. What we should do is go to Florida and do it from Florida, and just broadcast from there. On a real snowy day. I think that's what we do. We'll go to Florida, and I'll pay for it. So we'll worry about that. And now he's saying it was 76 yesterday.
I was off by 5.
My God, my God. Now we just finished this snowstorm, and people are already starting to panic about what lies ahead tomorrow and Friday. So much so that the Belleville Belleville Kearney Elks, in conjunction with an event that they have with the state in Bloomfield on Friday, have already canceled an event. So, what are we talking about in the next couple of days? Should people be canceling events 4 days out, or are we a little bit jumping the gun here?
A little bit jumping the gun, Kevin, especially for this week, because right now our forecast is calling for not a bad night tonight. This evening's going to be fine if you need to do anything. Temperatures will drop back into the upper 20s. Some clouds will start to move in, and we're looking for some snow to develop after 3 o'clock. Now, folks, take it easy. It's not the big one again. It's a little bit what we call an Alberta Clipper, which is one of these northern weather systems coming across. The snow will start after 3 o'clock in the morning. The morning rush hour for those people who haven't treated their walks, who road crews that say maybe their salt got washed away from the previous melt off from today, because there will be some melt off. Those areas could be a little troublesome as far as some slippery roads are concerned. It's all over, as it may even end as a little bit of light rain or drizzle. No later than the early afternoon tomorrow. Temperatures go up to near 40 tomorrow. And accumulation-wise, Kevin, it's negligible. You're talking about maybe just a coating up to an inch at best, and then it's by. And then in the days after that, you're looking at fair skies during the day and clear skies at night with temperatures in the 30s, perhaps even the lower 40s. And that's going to be right through the weekend. Now, in the extended, when we were doing our little production meeting before the program started, I alluded to, we're going to have to watch something for early next week, because a couple of the models are starting to indicate that there could be another sizable snowstorm for next week. So nothing to get excited about yet. This is going to change 100 million times and maybe 100 million and one times before this time next week. But we'll have the latest here on the Observer Live if need be, and also on our Facebook page to keep everybody up to date. So if you're running low on rock salt, you may want to get another bag or two just in case we do get that system coming in. And when I mean sizable, Kevin, it could be another storm where it's greater than 6 inches of snow. Like I said, it's a long way away, and it's a lot of changes. It's only 2 of the 13 models that I look at, but 2 of the more respectable computer models that we look at. So right now, it has Tony's attention.
Wow. Okay, that says something. If you're thinking about it a week out, we do need to be ready for that, right? I mean, and I appreciate you being honest about that too. Now, I don't know how much, if at all, you look outside the state of New Jersey, but something shocked me this morning when I was watching Morning Joe, and it was when they said that the Boston Globe shut down its print operation because they could not get the paper out in Boston, where I went to school in Newport, Rhode Island, Salve Regina University. 37 inches measured there. What do you know about what happened up in Boston? I mean, and in New England, that's greater than what happened in 1978 from what they're saying, right?
Right, exactly. And this storm was more intense as it moved into the Boston area and New England area. And if you're saying like an operation like the Globe shut down, that within itself tells you a lot of things. You get these storms, and we're not used to seeing storms this big, Kevin. Now, we've had historically big snowstorms, but and so far this year too, we're talking about here in Harrison, our snowfall totals are now greater than 35 inches for the season, the seasonal total. That's a lot of snow. Our
Yeah.
average is 28. But folks, we're having a winter this year. We lived a charmed life for the last 5 years. Um, and then, you're going to have your climatic ambulance chasers running down the street. It's global warming. Has nothing to do with global warming. The global warming fight, we can have special shows on global warming for a week. And at the end of the day, we'll still have an argument whether there is something to it. But I don't think
Yeah.
it's something that, they make it out to be, some of the politicians and some of the mainstream media. And right away, if you say there's no global warming, we're all canceled. They'll cancel us. No Harrison Weather Center, no Observer, no this, because we don't believe in it. There is something to it, but not to the extreme.
Yeah, is that what really people are? I got to be honest. I hear the word. I turn it off no matter anytime I hear about it, because you're going to get an argument no matter what. But are people really saying that? Look, we haven't had snow in 4 years. It's got to be global warming. Yeah, like people are really doing that, huh?
Everybody's in the state of shock, Kevin. We're had a winter, and we said it right here on the Observer Live. Kevin and Tony said this back in the fall, that it's going to be it's a winter. It's going to be a winter this year. For those loyal listeners, which at this time, if you haven't done it already, you must like and subscribe us. Right, Kev?
Yes, please.
We said it all along. We said it all along. It was going to be a winter this year, and it was. And also, thanks for watching and like and comment. I love it, Kevin.
I always have something ready to go for you. Now, on our way out here, what else is going on? We haven't had a chance to talk about anything but weather the last couple of times. Everything else is good in Tony Mondero's world?
Well, when I'm not doing the forecasting and making updates, I'm shoveling. And thankfully, as of 12 noon this afternoon, after putting ungodly hours shoveling out 3 vehicles, an alley, keeping the dogs happy in the backyard, there's a life for Tony Mondero after the weather, believe it or not. Finally caught up, and Kev, I finally got more than 3 hours sleep last night. So I'm
good.
Tonight I'll be back kind of normal, because we're watching this thing for overnight. And thank you, Lisa. You go, Tony. You go, Lisa. Your Yankees are going to do well this year, Lisa. I promise. So that's what we're up to. So it's busy, Kev. It's a 24/7 operation over here. Between family life and weather life and stuff like that. And I appreciate you asking all the time, too. And listen, on the way out, have a great program. And everybody, just look out the window if you got to commute tomorrow morning. Use your head. If it's a little bit snowy out there, slippery, get out there early. Clean your cars off. Take your time going to work. I don't think it's not going to be nothing catastrophic. But don't be alarmed when you wake up tomorrow. Oh, snow again. It's just another big one. It's not. It'll just be passing and it will be okay.
Thank you, Tony, for this, for everything you do, not just for me, but for the people of West Hudson, the state of New Jersey, all over the place. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without you. So I appreciate it very much, my brother, and I can't wait to talk to you again. Thank you.
You too. My pleasure, Kev. Have a great show.
You too, Tony. I'll see you later. There he is.
Thank you, sir.
The immortal. I mean that. I mean, he is just, he is that important to our community. Tony really is. He's such a great guy, and I cannot thank him enough for being here. One more time before I get to some other things, remember, if you're parked on Davis Avenue in Kearney, not the rest of the, not in Harrison, that's tomorrow, I think Tony said, or Thursday, get your cars moved. If you don't, it's going to get towed, and you're going to be very upset when you see what the total is for the impound fee, the tow fee, and the summons that you're going to get along with it. So please, if you live on Davis Avenue and your car is there, go move it right now before you regret it desperately. Now, I want to show you a couple of things first. This was in front of my house the other day, and it was wild, of course, and it looks so much better now. But I gotta do something personal here for the, I don't do this that often, but I just want to show you these two kids. On the left is a young man named Carlos. On the right is a young man named Zach. They are both 7th graders at Lincoln Middle School. So The other day I was talking to Melanie Ryan, and she told me a story about how Lisa Shalego met these two boys who were shoveling her out by her house, and how they were just these incredibly bright, intelligent young men who are what I think is two brilliant entrepreneurs, because they are working their butts off, these two. They've been out the last 2 days. They were out 8 hours yesterday. They're up to hour 6 today, and they're going to continue after this. These two guys here shoveled me a pathway, a way to get into my vehicle, and the stairs and the porch in front of my home. And you want to know something? Teenagers get a bad rap sometimes. And a lot of the times it's very, very unfair. I wanted to show you these two kids because not only do they have an entrepreneurial spirit, but they were just two incredible young men who are working their way up in the world at seventh. They're both in the 7th grade, so they're probably 13, 14 years of age, if not even that at this point. They were true gentlemen to me. They cleared everything out. Now, you can't see it in this picture because I was preparing to come on the air with Tony and to talk to all of you. And I thank Melanie and then Lisa in turn for introducing me to these two kids. And I tell you what, they do great work. And I know they're not the only ones that are in Kearney who are doing this, and in other towns who are going around and shoveling. But really, I mean, you want to talk about two kids who just are exemplary kids. It's these two. And I had to take this opportunity to say to Jimmy Hempel, the principal of Lincoln Middle School, Jimmy, you got some great kids. You really do. I've always seen it when I go over for the oratorical contest, but to see the type of spirit that these two boys have was just inspiring. And it was very important for me to shout them out. Lisa came up with the idea of taking their picture and putting it in the paper and putting it on the broadcast. Lisa Shalego, that is, but I could not say something about them. And I'm sure if you ever need something shoveled in your area, they would probably find a way to get over there. It's just really remarkable. Tony sent me this picture. This was Davis Court, I believe, in Harrison. You see everything piled up over there. He was out and about taking some pictures over the weekend, so you really see the size of those piles. But wait till you see the pile I'm going to show you in a few minutes. Here are some pictures of Kearney Avenue. These corners here, which are very dangerous, you're going to see in a few minutes, have been taken care of today. So the Kearney Fire Department is out right now removing some snow, and I'll get to that as well. But here's some others on Kearney Avenue. At this point, it was still a little bit far out into the street. You can see this SUV here where it's basically in the street and out of the parking space, but it has since been taken care of. And that's a great thing. Melanie Ryan sent me a whole bunch of pictures. This is when they were starting to dig out cars on her block. There was a group of guys who came by and they shoveled out every single person on the block. Every person on the block was shoveled out. And my understanding is that they did not charge a soul a penny to get every car away. And every vehicle on that street, you can now see the tires. Think about that. That is just incredible that that there are people who do things like this. This was a look at how high the pile got at some point. But it's these next few that you're not going to believe. But look at that. And look at the hydrants are all cleared out too. People really heeded that message of how important it is to clear space for fire hydrants so that if, God forbid, a fire department, no matter where it is, it has to get in. Melanie did say some people paid them. I forgot to tell you that part. They also did driveways, and that was very important for a lot of people too. And so some people did pay them anyway. Okay. Now, look at the size of that pile toward the center of this picture. That's a pretty high tree right there, the dead one right there. But look at how high that is. She estimates it's about 8 feet high. It is enormously high, but it just goes to show you how much snow we really did get over the last couple of days. But look at that. That is just absolutely incredible to see. Now, I had also mentioned to you that the Kearney Fire Department was out and about. They were on the corners here, and you see that they are first directing a path to the fire hydrant and then getting some of the snow off of the street corner. Lisa sent this to me just before I went on the air earlier, and they are driving around and they are taking care of this right now. So a lot of that, what you see right there, anything in other areas will be cleared up so that the fire department can get to the fire hydrants if necessary in areas where the cleanup did not necessarily happen with the hydrants up and around any of the hydrants. Now, Lisa and I were talking this morning, and we were discussing about, well, you know, we always look to Harrison as the exemplary DPW because they have trucks and they have a small town geographically to cover. It's a lot smaller than Kearney is, and that includes the uplands portion too of Kearney. And we both said to each other, you know what they probably should be doing, and I'm surprised they're not, is getting involved with shared services so that when it comes time to get rid of snow, once Harrison clears their snow, you rent the trucks from Harrison or Harrison gives them to them, because we use shared services for police, fire, EMS, and other things as well. So why aren't they doing it for cleanup of snow? And then it hit me after I talked to Melanie Ryan how illogical it would be to even create a shared service agreement with the town of Harrison. It takes about 5 days for Harrison to clear out all of its streets. And think about that just for a second. So that means they're going to be doing work for the rest of the week to do the curb to curb as they do on every single street. So if Kearney or other towns were to enter into shared services agreements, while it would be beneficial eventually, could you imagine, just for a second, what Facebook or any other social media would be like if Mayor Doyle said, all right, everybody, we're going to get to this, but not for 5 days? She would have a mutiny on her hands. There is no way that the shared services agreements would ever work in a case like this. And I apologize because I thought of the same thing too. Lisa and I both thought about it. That would be a good idea. But there's just no way when it takes 5 days for Harrison, they wouldn't be able to start working until Friday or Saturday in Kearney. And by then, there would be just utter chaos from people in the town. Now, with that said, the town of Kearney has hired outside contractors to continue to help with snow removal. So if what you see right now is not to your satisfaction, do not worry. It will get completed when these outside contractors come in. DPW is working its ass off. Kevin Murphy did a phenomenal job in the town of Kearney, but it will get better once these outside contractors come in. But we want you to know that they are indeed coming. This is a very difficult process, as you can see. If it takes Harrison 5 days, how long do you think it's going to take Kearney or other towns to do it that are much bigger? So please be patient, folks. It will get done, and every necessary thing to make sure that all of this work is done has been discussed and put into motion. Now, I want to get off snow for a second. And I want to put up a picture of somebody who I think most of you will remember. This is Brian Thompson. He was the former New Jersey reporter for Channel 4 WNBC. I didn't know Brian until a couple of years ago. We became friendly on Twitter, and to this day we still chat once in a while. But let me tell you something. Brian made something that he didn't, a mistake that he probably had no idea he was going to make. He is among the people who decided to take a vacation last week and this week, but he's in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And I think most of you know that what's going on in Puerto Vallarta right now is not very good. In fact, there were a lot of explosions and things of that nature after a leader of the cartel was killed. So he's trying to get back to New Jersey, and he can't. I hope he's on a plane right now. I did not chat with him at all this morning, but I think most of you will remember Brian. His ex-wife was Laurie Stokes, who used to do the news on Channel 7, and then she did Good Day New York with Rosanna Scotto. So we're thinking of Brian, and hopefully he will be able to get himself out and back home very, very soon. And I'm sure he is not the only one who is stuck in Puerto Vallarta or any of its environs right now. Not a good time, however, to be in Mexico for any reason. Now, this week's newspaper, I'm just going to go through this briefly. We have profiles of the 3 marshals who will be leading the St. Patrick's Day Parade in West Hudson in the coming weeks. Kevin Quinn is the Grand Marshal, and then you see the Deputy Grand Marshals are there as well with Pat O'Donnell. And I hope you take a chance and read the profiles, because all 3 of them are phenomenal human beings. I've known Kevin and Mike Conlon for a long time, and I think the choices that were made this year were just absolutely exceptional. They are every year. You know, I don't want to take anything away from somebody like Mark Wiggins, who was as great a Grand Marshal as you could ever imagine, but Kevin Quinn celebrating his 30th year as the president of the United Irish Associations of West Hudson. 30 years there, and this is the 50th anniversary of the founding of the United Irish. So well done by everybody there. Now, I just want to bring this to your attention, because this is something that is kind of not good at all. I think most of you know that I know Mayor Mike Melham very, very well, the mayor of Belleville. And he's going through some crap right now. And that's because some idiot doxed his house the other day. And that is just unfortunate. It really is. They put a picture of his house on Facebook, and I can't stand when people do shit like this. I really can't. They put a picture of his house on social media, and they made it to look like his house was an ICE location. They put bars on the windows. They put a watchtower out in front of the place. And number one, it's bad enough that a mayor's home would be put on social media. It's bad enough. But then to change it to make it look like it was an ICE facility is about as disgusting as it gets. And I don't care where you stand on anything like this. I really don't care where you stand. Mike Melham is a registered independent. He has voted for Republicans. He has voted for Democrats. He's done it all. He has not ever made comments about where he stands on ICE. And for this person to go out there and put his home on social media and then to imply that it's an ICE facility, which of course I'm telling you right now, it's not, is disgusting. But here's where it gets even worse. Here's where it gets even worse. And I don't understand how this is possible. The Essex County prosecutor, Ted Stevens, whose photo you see on the screen right now to the right, will not prosecute the person who did the doxing. And it's known who it is. I'm not going to say his name, but it's known who he is. And I'll tell you what, I don't understand that. There is no law, unfortunately, that protects elected officials the way it does somebody like Ted Stevens, who is a prosecutor, or law enforcement. I'm talking about local law enforcement. And it's very unfortunate because the man who did this, a resident of Belleville, could have put the life of Mayor Melham, his girlfriend, or anybody in his family who ever visits him in severe danger. You know, Mike Melham doesn't walk around with a mask on his face like the ICE people do. He goes around and everybody knows who he is. And to dox his home the way they did it is, to me, infuriating. And it's even more infuriating that the Essex County prosecutor would just say no to prosecuting the person who did this. I know the law isn't there right now that guarantees the protection as an elected official. But the bottom line is, he is a very, very neutral politician. He's endorsed Democrats. He's endorsed Republicans. He wants to do what's best for Belleville. He has never taken a stance on ICE. And so no matter where you fall on that spectrum, whether you think that what they're doing is a wonderful thing or whether you think that what they're doing is abhorrent, Mike Melham never said a word about any of this, and he's never done anything that would make anybody believe that he was or was not pro or against immigration and customs enforcement. And the guy who did this, who is known to be a troublemaker, should really watch himself, because it's very unfortunate that this happened. And I would say he wakes up every day as a lucky man he's not in the Essex County Jail right now, because a stronger prosecutor would have charged him with this. And unfortunately, strong is not a word that I would use to describe Ted Stevens right now, because what he did was terrible. It really was. And Ted Stevens, you're a better prosecutor than this. You've done a great job during your tenure, but you fouled this one up big time. And the mayor of Belleville deserves much better. Don't forget, we have 2 pages of classifieds for you to look at if you need a place to live, or if you're looking for a job, or if you need something done in your house. We've got a lot of handymen in there and things of that nature, roofing, all that stuff. Check it out in the back of the book. Jason Bernstein has 3 sports stories this week, so check those out as well. And that's it. We went a little bit long today. We are up to it 2:11, so I'm sorry for going on for as long as we have. But before I go, I want to say hi to a couple of people who are in the room. I see Valerie Curry is here with us, and I see Larry Hanlon, Melanie Ryan, Denise Pavlik is here. Lisa Shalago is also here with us. Lisa, I am sorry. I hope you were here, but I did talk about you today. Denise Pavlik, did I say that already? No, I didn't. Yes, I did. Yes, there you are, Denise. I'm sorry. I can't even remember what I say half the time. My Aunt Annie Troy is here with us as well. Joe Heretic is also here with us. Our Lisa is back at the office. I didn't make it into the office today. My Uncle Mike Slane is here with us as well. And that should be, Carol Manley is watching us. And if you're with Mama June, please give her our love as well. Carmen De Jesus is with us, and so is Manny Ventoso Jr. There were probably a lot of you in the background today as well. Any of you in the background, I used to say lurking, but watching is the better word. Thank you for being here. It means the world to us. We will be back when and if we are needed with the weather in the coming days, if not 1 week from today, for another edition of The Observer Live. So from the home studio today, it's Kevin Canessa signing off for now. And we hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Stay warm and dry. Bye-bye.